Hi.
Hey, there you
Hi,
go.
everyone. How are you?
How are you?
Can you guys see me and hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. We're so excited to speak with you.
I'm
Your
super
skin is
excited.
popping.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
You're
I'm not doing
welcome.
no makeup right now. I'm chilling. We just
Right.
chatting. We're just
Just
relaxing.
vibing.
So
Right.
we're vibing.
So, right. So we're definitely excited to speak to you. Out of all the people we've spoken to this month, you are the most layered person.
Oh,
You got
really?
the most questions from your fans. Absolutely. So this is really exciting.
I'm excited, Thank you guys so much. First of all, congratulations to you and your amazing platform. It's
Thank you so
always
much.
really, really important for, our voices to be out here and to be heard and for our
Absolutely.
perspectives to be stamped and recorded in real time. So I'm super excited to be
Definitely.
here with you. Yeah.
Thank you. So we're gonna kick it from the very beginning. You're someone who's been in the game for a while. Not even just from
Yes,
Tyler
ma'am.
Perry Sisters. You've been out here grinding for a very long time. Tell us your journey. Tell us where you started from. We know you went to college in New York and graduated. Start from there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I did. I was one of those people who changed colleges a lot. Okay, I
All of
changed my
us.
major like 1,000 times. All right.
Right.
I literally was, and it was so funny because my majors came from TV characters, right? Like I was watching
Right.
SVU all the time, girl, and I was like, oh, I could be a forensic scientist, right? Like, so I'm like, oh, I could do this. I'm smart. I always had good
Right.
grades. So I was like, okay, let me try this. I went to college for that, and then I found out it was like 21 science classes. I said, no, ma'am. Like, we're not.
Right.
I said, no, ma'am. Like, I'm not doing that to myself. I know I'm a disciplined, dedicated person. I'm very smart, but science is not a joke. And
It's
I
not.
just felt like, that was my cap. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like
Mhm.
certain things you should be aware of within yourself. And I was
Right. Stay
living
in
in
your
New York
lane.
City. Yeah, I was living in New York City at the time, and I didn't have the regular college experience. I didn't get to dorm up. I didn't get to do all that because I got accepted to Hampton University, but I
Woo!
decided not to go because it was too expensive. And
It is.
I did not want to put that burden on my mother. I did
Right.
not see, I could see myself doing other things. And I always said, education is very important. I love school. I love learning. But I also feel the route of which you go matters dependent on what you're trying to professionally get done in your life.
Right.
And I knew that I was a hardworking person and that people like me. So if my grades were good and at least I got the paperwork to say that I finished school, which is
Right.
essentially the point. People just want to see that you're disciplined, that you show up for
Mm-hmm.
something, that you can commit, right? And that you were able to do that for a really long time. And so I was like, okay. So I tried the forensic science thing, girl, found that out. I was like, did that in the water. Right? Like, all right, I did the little sorority thing. I joined a little sorority situation. That was cute. And then
Right.
I was like, okay, this is fine. But I was working, right? And I was
Right.
still living at home. So it was different for me. And, the city kids that go to city school and like do that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah, like along the way, I did that. I switched to law. I
Ooh,
switched to because
also a
everybody's like, oh,
tough one.
you know how to talk, like you know how to negotiate, and I was like, okay, maybe I should do that.
Right.
Like I just didn't. But the weird thing is, my mom had always put me in a lot of things, piano, acting
Mhm.
school, as a very young child. So I was
Right.
like, just kind of bouncing around. And I highly encourage parents sometimes just leave some of your kids alone. Stop making your kids do one thing that you dreamt of doing. You know what I'm saying? When
Right.
you were a kid, and now you're pushing it on your kid. But sometimes humans, some of us humans, we are better at trying a couple of things and
Right.
dipping our toe into different areas of life and seeing what we feel like doing. And I feel like that exploration phase is extremely important. And then I realized, oh, I love people. Oh, I love exploring. Oh, I love creating those things.
Right.
Well, girl, you might as well just do the acting thing. Don't act like you ain't want to do it anyway. So just go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? But you really got to understand what this is about. So then that's when we moved to New York City when I was 17. I lived there until around 26, and that's when I
Oh,
moved to
okay.
LA. But I graduated college there. I became a bartender there. I learned how to hustle. I learned how to dress. I learned how to, New York is
Right.
fashion. It's
Absolutely.
you got to get around.
Right.
You're not the type of person that you're not going to get somewhere if you're not moving, right? So I
Yep.
really learned how to navigate and start sculpting and constructing my character, my integrity, my personality, just all the
Right.
different facets of what make a human being. And I started dating there. Okay, had a good time, right? And then
Nothing like
I
a New
got my
York
friends
man.
there. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, girl, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Don't play,
That's
okay?
right.
Like, when you're young, you better go date because you need to go find out
Right.
what you like. You never know. You don't know. You don't commit too soon in life to anything is my personal thing because I feel like that is so unrealistic. We're nomads, we
Right.
naturally just are curious beings. That's why we move around, right?
Right.
Because you might be the type of person, imagine wherever you're living now. Imagine if you moved to a place where it's always sunny, and imagine what kind of person you would be if there was always sunshine around.
Right.
It really does change who you are. So I had a really good time doing that, and that's where I got into the commercials, girl, got into some of the modeling, and I was just living my life. And I was like, okay, so I'm gonna audition during the day, I'm gonna hustle at night, get this bread, and I moved out eventually, obviously out of my parents, growing up. I was like, I gotta go. Hi mom, I love you. I was like, I gotta go. So yeah, I
Um,
started doing that, and I really was moving around the city. I booked my first commercial that I had. My process was I went to those workshops where they
mhm.
had different casting directors and stuff there that you could ask them questions.
Right.
And I went there, and I think we were able to present ourselves. This is West Barron out in New York City. We were able to present ourselves with a monologue or talk to them, like kind of like speed dating, low key.
Okay.
So it was like that kind of experience. And because they liked the way I looked or whatever, and they liked how I presented myself, I was able to be a free agent with many different agencies. So that's how it
Right.
kind of works on that East Coast vibe. In the West Coast is very different.
Strict.
Yeah, it's much more strict on the West Coast.
Mm.
So different things like that.
Okay. So the other day we were able to catch one of your Instagram lives, and you gave a perfect speech for anybody who's trying to get into any sort of business about staying the course. You said that even though you're on the number one hit series on cable, not just BT, y'all, on cable, number one. I'm very proud of y'all.
Thank
Number
you.
one fan, by the way. You said that out of every no you got, there was 10,000. No, out of every yes you got, there were 10,000 no's. Tell us what that was like.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's always going to be no's,
Right.
because everything is not for you. It's not even
True.
possible. So it's not even humanly possible. And sometimes
Right.
we have to really deflate that ego part of ourselves, thinking we could have gotten that and this and this and this. It's not for you. It's very ordained and very beautifully manifested amongst the people that manifest what they're manifesting at that point. And
Right.
so when you are in the space of like an athlete, perhaps, or an artist, even an inventor, somebody who's pioneering or leading in a space. A lot of people are not going to get it,
Right.
especially when it comes to other layered dialogues on top of that us humans we distract ourselves with, right? The
Right.
physical shell of us being dark skinned Black women, you in the media space, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the artistic media space, I guess we can call it that different.
Right.
Like we have challenges ahead of us because people's perception of us is so skewed and short-sighted, that they don't really understand how to navigate certain people. And for me,
Right.
like, I'm a global woman,
Right.
as are you. And
Right.
I say that factually, because I was born in a different country, I speak a different language, I have lived and worked in different places. I have, and now with this show, I mean, it's insane the reach that it has, right? It's such a special situation that I'm in.
Right.
I understand the value and the asset that I bring, you know, to any production space.
Right.
And you have to learn when you're in this space that people's perception will always, in their mind, outweigh even your hard work.
It's true.
And
Very true.
you know, you have to keep a level space within yourself, and you have to keep your eye on your own individual prize, whatever you have your heart set on, between you, God, the universe, whatever you want to personally call it. And you have to understand that it will never stop, right? It is a journey. It's a journey. So you cannot rush the outcome.
Anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Absolutely. So in your bio on Twitter, you have 2 A's, double A's, that you're an actor and you're an astrologer.
Yes,
tell us how important astrology is to you and the impact that it has had on your life as well as your career.
Oh, absolutely. I was definitely feeling so lost and just tired and overwhelmed of 13 years of trying and trying and trying and trying. And, you know,
right.
It's just, you're chipping away, right? It's like that, you guys know that picture of the two miners, and one
right.
is about to give up, and there's gold on the other side.
Yeah.
And then there's the one who's giving up, right? Like,
and it's right
the other one is just chipping away. The other one is just like, right. Yo, I give up, I'm done. And I felt both, you know, and it's just like, let me tell you, life is funny. God is hilarious, you know, and the way that it unfolds for you, because right now, you know, especially with everything that's happening in the world, things like that, you know, everyone's switching, everyone's pivoting, right? All of us collectively are pivoting in our own ways. And we're trying to see, okay, now my dream was this. Now what does it look like over here? You know?
Right.
And so you have to learn how to also, I feel like, honor who you are, but then really be able to let go so you can become whatever it is that God wants you to become in the moment. Because right now you have a vision for your, you know, media company, right? But you don't know what's coming. You have no clue.
Absolutely not. Every day.
And she's just like, I don't know. Carry me.
Save it, faith. I do not know. Right.
You're like, help me out.
Right.
Right? Girl,
absolutely.
I could virtually hug you right now because I'm telling you, I feel you. Definitely. But it's definitely a real thing. And I'm just so grateful that you know, obviously that I'm working on the show, but that's, you know, it's impactful in a different way. It's not just any kind of show. I understand how special this moment is, you know? And I really want to continue working hard as an artist, and I want to make sure that I'm making my community proud, and that I'm continuing leading a pathway, you know, that other people have really worked hard, so that I can be in this space to speak to you.
Yes, definitely. So what I love about the show the most from day one, I feel like Tyler Perry is a genius. He's a legend overall. But I love the fact that as a man, he set up storylines where it shows different levels, different types of Black women.
It does.
And even though we all beef with each of y'all characters every week, for the different choices that each character makes, Sabrina is my favorite because I feel like there's not one way to be a Black woman, you know? There's not one way to date or to communicate or to deal with certain things. And I feel like she's like more calm with it and like a little shaky sometimes, but I think like a piece of her all resonates with all of us. So let me get to these questions about sisters before they kick me. Tell us what a day in the life is like for Novi preparing to be Sabrina.
Oh, wow. I like that question a lot. Thank you. Thank you for watching the show and everything.
Absolutely.
When it's Sabrina's, it's so funny because one of my best friends, his name is Brian. He'll always call me. He'll be like, "Hello, is Sabrina available?" I'll be like, "No, she don't show up until Wednesday." But when it gets
Right.
close to, when it gets close to filming, it's so funny because I'm like, yeah, like she'll show up. I got hired 4 days beforehand, and so
Oh my God.
also there's a thing of it's a first season, so
Hmm.
every first season I feel like you're overexpressing your character in some kind of way, shape,
Right.
or form, right? Because you're really
Hmm.
trying to solidify, like, this is who this person is. Like, I don't care what you
Right.
say, right? And it's like, right? And so there's that. But then as you grow with the character and you're growing, we're getting older, with the
Right.
character, and we're really becoming. We're seeing the different angles, because on Twitter, our family don't play. So they're
Right.
going to ask us the hard questions, and we really, have to dialogue and talk about it and bring those back to the characters and put them in there and keep
Right.
developing and mixing and mixing and mixing. So, and then you're
Right.
waiting for Tyler's scripts to come because we don't have them as soon as people think we do. So it's,
Uh-oh.
there's a sense of your instincts that you have to put into it. You have to be
Hmm.
extremely vulnerable. You have to be
Right.
able to be malleable to whatever he is sculpting as well,
Right.
because he knows where he's taking it, right?
Right.
So there's a lot there, and then you have to trust each other. And what I love about Sisters in this cast specifically is that the trust is undeniable, because if not, we would not be able to pull off what we're able to pull off in the amount of time that we do.
Right.
A lot of other productions do not have what we have. We don't have time. They have time. They're able to take the same take over and over again. We only have one time to nail it, and
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of practice. And then the pandemic happened, and you're just like, okay, we have Zoom, but Zoom is not organic and it's not giving what it's about again,
At
like we like
all.
to spend time in person, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And we can't even hug each other like we used to, and it's so many different things on top of it. So it's we really get to dig into the characters. We really look at what is going on in the time, because I can't dictate the future. It's
Right.
different, I think, when you have a film or when you have months to work and dive into a character. This is just like, girl, you better show up and trust that your
Right.
vulnerability and what your partners are throwing at you. Because,
Hmm.
girl, you can practice your ass off, but your partner might not be feeling it that day. You hear what I'm saying? Or they might be
Mm.
feeling it. And then now they change your course of how you had it in your mind. So there's just so many
It's a
different
lot.
levels to it. But if you
Right.
understand the person to the core, I know that Sabrina has a heart. I know she cares about her friends. I know she's
Right.
in the middle of that transition in dating. I don't care what nobody says. Most people remember the transition between wanting someone who's good on paper and someone who makes you feel good.
That's right. I
You know
think
what
you
I'm
only feel that
saying?
once you like get to a certain age, though.
That's an age thing, girl. Like,
Right.
experience, girl. That's experience. It's like, okay,
Definitely.
we ain't young no more. So
Right.
it's yeah, girl, it's all of those things. And I really allow I like I said, my partners, my director, my writer, like I'm really putting a lot of trust in the people around me. So it has a lot to do with that. And then I just went with my instincts when it came to Sabrina. I was like, I just want to be more vulnerable.
Right.
I want to be more confused, and I want other people to feel confused about around her. You know what I'm saying?
Very much.
And I want that to be okay. And I don't care how much it gets on people's nerves. They love to strong Black woman, direct Black woman who knows what she wants, who knows
Right.
that we're so used to that. We're so used to seeing the Black woman know exactly what she wants, when she wants it.
Right.
She don't take no shit. Do do do
Right.
do. But we're uncomfortable with the vulnerable Black woman, and then we wonder why 75,000 Black girls are missing in America. We wonder why, we don't talk about violent crimes against Black women in America on the regular basis, right? There's a lot of
Preach. A
intersections to
lot.
it. So if I could be a part of of that chain reaction of women who say, hey, I see myself in Sabrina. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I see myself in her. You know, that makes me feel like, girl, you're actually doing something with yourself, you know?
Absolutely. You do a good job of delivering the character every week. You guys are definitely very different from each other.
Yes, we
Tell
are.
us some qualities that you absolutely despise of Sabrina's and a few that you love.
You know, I don't despise anything, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she could obviously she could have better boundaries, you know. But
Agreed.
can't we all?
Right.
Better boundaries, I would say, would be my answer.
Right. What is something that you absolutely love about Sabrina?
Oh, I really love that she cares. She actually
She is very
cares, you
nice.
know, for real. And you
Right.
know she cares, like in a real
Absolutely.
way. Because even when she asked Karen, are you jealous? Andy didn't ask. Andy did not ask, not even Danny. You know,
Right.
who was the one to ask the realest question that we really need to know the
That was
answer
a
to?
real question. That's a fact.
Sabrina be coming with the questions. I don't think people really be knowing. Like even in the scene with with Gary and Aaron and Fatima and Danny and Sabrina, right?
Right.
She was just like, so what's up with you? Like where you at? What's up? Right
Right.
there. Like what? In front of people, like she be really bold sometimes, and she gets that from Danny. You know what I'm saying? She
Right.
gets that boldness from Danny because when Danny's around, she feels like I can say what I want, right? But that's what I really love about her. Like she'll be asking you real questions.
Right. She definitely does. So Sabrina has a lot going on right now between juggling her stuff that she has on with Calvin and the stuff she has going on with Jacoby. First thing we want to ask you is why do you personally think, from your own standpoint as Novi, why do you think Sabrina won't fully let Calvin go, but consistently pursues him?
Hmm. I think that she wants her cake and eat it too, to be honest. If she's
Mm,
more selfish than she wants to let on, I think there's a little bit of that there. And then
right,
she should just be able to exercise it more boldly, I feel, instead of using it as a manipulation tactic. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like instead of using it as like, oh, I don't know what I want. No, you know what you want. Because at the end of the day, but that's how I feel as an individual. I feel like everyone knows what they want, girl. At the end of the day,
right.
nobody's putting a gun to your head and telling you got to do this, you got to do that. You a grown up. You know what I'm saying? You a grown
Exactly.
up. Andy is doing what she wants. She is the epitome
Of
of
doing
do
what you
what you
want.
want,
Exactly.
right?
I don't
So
know if we like that she doing what she want, but
even though
yeah.
people don't like it, she's still doing, and that's what everybody. That's Sabrina's single, so you can't tell her who she could date or what she could do, but she also has consequences for her actions. So does Andy. So does Karen, because she
Hmm.
does what Karen does what she wants to. You know
True.
what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, like y'all are doing what y'all want to do. So okay,
Right.
here are the consequences though from that. So there's a little bit of you know, because I feel like she's building up more courage as time goes on, just to really be forthcoming and honest with what she wants, because the conversation is high value man, low value man, masculinity, femininity.
Right.
Like it is that conversation. We are now at a place where we want men to express themselves authentically, right? So who
Right.
are we to judge how they express themselves, you know? And then when we're, of course, when we're uncomfortable, we're allowed to say we're uncomfortable. That's fine. But doesn't it challenge you too as an individual though as well? Like, you
Right.
know, so there's so many conversations, and I feel like this is a show that even 20 years from now, if you watch it 20 plus years from now with 20 more experience in dating and loving and
Right.
relationships, you go see the show from a completely different standpoint. And that's what
Right.
I love about this show and the different characters in the show.
Absolutely. It's definitely very relatable. I think one way or another, we've all been in different situations that relate to the show. Maybe not so much with Calvin, a little eccentric with certain things, but I feel like Calvin's a good dude, and I feel like he's just opening her up to different things that she's not used
Yes.
to.
Yes.
Do you think that Jacoby is possibly like a karma to how she treated Calvin?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Yeah, I'll agree. I could agree with that a little bit. Maybe it's karma. Maybe it's what she wanted.
Hmm.
Maybe it's, you know, I don't know.
It's a
She
lot.
likes, it's a lot. It's a little drama, you know.
Right.
You know, when
Jacoby got a
goes,
lot
goes,
of drama.
listen, you know, sometimes in life, you just get yourself in some situations that be crazy as hell. And you just be looking back like,
Right.
right? Like, why did I do that? But that's what life is about. Let me tell you, it's not, it's messy, y'all. It's messy.
Very, it's very messy. From your standpoint as Novi, if Sabrina was to come to you and tell you word for word how everything went down between her and Jacoby and the situation that they're in now,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
would you tell her on how to fix it?
Ooh, how to fix it, girl. I would
And
say
definitely
delete.
not more Reese's route, even
No,
though
yeah,
this is a lot of
yeah,
extreme.
but you know, hey, listen, that was a real, that's, you know, the devil tapping you on the shoulder now. Like,
Right.
come on now. But that's a real moment in people's lives, right? And a lot of people do get falsely accused of things. And so that was
Sure.
that I'm glad that Tyler threw that in there because that's what that was about. It's like there are a lot of people sitting in jail having experiences they shouldn't be having because they were falsely accused of a situation. And a lot of the times, our word is so important, you know, and we can make or break somebody with that,
Very true.
with the power of the tongue. So it was an extremely deep moment, super reflective, especially in our community, because we do
Right.
weaponize a lot of behaviors against one another, and we bring other situations into our situation, and that just causes a whole nother situation, you know. And so that was a really important conversation to have at home. How do we handle abuse, domestic violence? How do we handle, right? Because we see that in the Andy Gary dynamic, right? Which was there. We see manipulation happening on other spectrums of relationships, emotional manipulation, guiding people. You know, people are losing their money, people are losing their jobs. Like,
People are losing their life. It's true. It's
losing
very
their
real.
life, you know. Jasmine's whipping out guns on people because she's so distressed, you know, because
Girl.
yo,
Mm.
come on. Jasmine's my favorite character on favorite
No.
character. She crazy as hell. Crystal be playing the hell out of that role because Crystal
Right.
people are like, what? When she put the ashes in the thing,
She's nuts.
I said, yo, that's crazy. But yeah, so it's just so many. The show is just crazy. The show is crazy, y'all.
Every year, it just gets even crazier. I love it. Definitely do.
I love it.
So now we're going to get into some fan questions. Try
Yes.
to answer as many as you possibly can.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, so they want to know, who do you think is the best pick for Sabrina, Calvin or Jacoby, and why?
No answer. Next.
Okay, so Karen, in yesterday's episode, you guys better have watched. Yesterday, what the hell does this say? Yesterday, they pointed out that Karen was wrong for leaving the wedding ceremony. How weren't Sabrina and Danny wrong for staying, knowing the severity of the situation?
I think everybody played their position as they should. Next.
You really think so?
I do. I think everyone played their position exactly how it should have been played. It was
Ugh,
perfectly. It was perfect. It was the perfect way because Karen don't play that. She don't.
she don't.
And at the end of the day, it is what it is. And Danny talks a big game, but she's still gonna stand by her sister. You know what I'm saying? And
True.
you know, Sabrina's absolutely gonna stay because that's just
She
her
is the
nature.
heart of the chorus.
And
True.
at the end of the day, Karen knew that if she would be safe with anybody, she'd be safe with the other best friends anyway. So Karen didn't really leave her in the most effed up situation. She left her with the other best friends. So,
Right.
you know, she stepped away because that was a real, that was also a real voice within the group. So
Right.
that's not a voice you can deny, because now Andy's talking about life or death. That's where her
Right.
character's at, right? So let's
True.
not, we can't play coy about where her character's at. Her character's with a guy with, you know, real situations that are going on that
Issues.
could affect her long term. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so it's and Karen's standpoint is real. She comes to, her mother was in the army or the Navy or whatever, and you know, like she don't play that. She just does not
Right.
play that. Like,
Very true.
and at the end of the day, it's not about agreeing. Okay, it's about it was about her integrity as an individual, and I think Karen played her position, Sabrina played her position, and Danny played her position, because it's the four of them. And then that's why at the end of it, she still didn't get married to him anyway.
Thank God. I hope it follows through with that.
You know?
Next question. Do you think it's fair that Zach can't stand any of Karen's friends because of their issues, and why can't he just keep it cordial?
Well, Zach is petty. He petty boots.
Right.
You know, he's super emotional guy. He's super in his feelings and just goes with the wind and doesn't think things through. And that's just his character, like a lot of his traits, right? He's very much like Sabrina. So,
Mm-hmm.
but he's just like a male version, because he's just not making the best decisions either. So it's
Right.
like, you know, everybody thinks that they're smarter than somebody else, which is the human dilemma, right? Who makes the best
Absolutely.
decision as a human, right? Like,
Right.
no one does, is the point. It's messy. So that's why, you know, that's why Maurice is in there as well, always throwing in the jabs and stuff. But
Right.
well, I feel like Zach is just going through his thing. He should be single, in my opinion. A lot of them should be single and dating and seeing what's out there. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's not, don't necessarily jump into the next thing so fast, but a lot of us do, and that's what I love about this show, because it's real.
Right.
Girl, how many of us have moved on quickly with somebody else, and some of us sitting next to people right now that we moved on quickly with, like, damn, I did move on
Right.
quickly with you. Like, you know, it's a reflex sometimes. You know, some people are good at recovering by themselves, and a lot of us recover with other people. So it's a real conversation. It's easier said than done. It's human. It's complex. It's messy, and
Very.
it's beautiful. It's human.
Right. Very much. Okay. Who do you think oversteps their boundaries more within their friendship? Sabrina or Maurice?
I feel like they're definitely equal, and they love it. They love it. It's their love language, I think. The way that they take care of each other, the way they show up in each other's lives is their love language, and it's their kinship. You know, they love each other, and then they're nosy, because I don't know about you, but if I didn't give a shit about you, I wouldn't really be in your business, to be honest. So,
Right.
you know, if I cared about you and wanted you to be okay and all these other things, then I'm going to show up to your house and make sure you're okay, and like all these other things. So I feel like they are definitely equally yoked in
Right.
being in each other's business.
That's a good answer, because we had the pleasure of speaking with Brian Jordan Jr. last week, and he agreed. He said that they're definitely in sync, but they
Yes.
tell each other a little bit too much. So they're
Yes.
always courting each other's crap. I definitely agree. Who's your least favorite sister? Nothing personal to any of your cast members. I know you guys are all close. Just from the outside
No,
looking
I
in.
feel like I need more information, to be honest, because we haven't seen that much about the girls' solo dynamics.
Right.
You know, we've seen them a lot with the men and stuff, and I keep saying I need a flashback episode, girl. I
Oh,
want
that would be good.
flashbacks. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
In
want
college.
in college. What did
That'd
Andy
be
go?
great.
What did Andy go through? Remember that whole?
Right.
What was that? And how did they meet? How do they know each other? I need more. So,
That would be
and
good. I
that's
like
just
that.
really honest. Like, I just need more.
Right. Who's your favorite guy out of the perspective of all the gentlemen on the show?
The men are crazy. They always be popping up at somebody's house. Talking
Right.
about,
Like,
right, like, hello, why you always at my house? I feel like the men are so layered and complex. I love that. I love the dynamics the men are bringing to the show. I feel as if, you know, Hayden is a
Oh
great
my God.
addition on the show because Chris is just such a great guy. Chris Warren, who plays Hayden, he's so sweet and he's a legend. You know what I'm saying? He's been in the industry for so long. For him to grace our show with his talents, he's such a great guy. So it's to see him play such a badass. I really also, who I really like that's layered. I really like. There's so many guys. I really love Maurice. Like Maurice just is giving me life. It's and I know that's it's your favorite and you're in sync with him, but also just aside from how he pops up, how he pops out, just his presence on screen is just so beautiful. You can see. I want to see him in more scenes with other people in the show. I think it would
That'd
really
be good.
Yeah, right. I want to see more, like maybe him at the bar or something, and be like, who are you talking to, or whatever, like see what's going on, and him being also a bird's eye view, and seeing what's going on. So that would be nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So they want to know, out of these two legendary series, which one is your all-time favorite? Living Single or Girlfriends, and why?
Ooh, Living Single. Because I just remember being a little girl in my room, and we are living, and like just hearing the song, just sing, and then the silhouette with the
right with the dancer,
and the topics were cool. I lived in the city, so it living in the city with your friends in your apartment, going and being like it just felt like my life, I guess, and I felt like I grew up and lived that. Right. And it was really, really cool. And plus with the mix, with the men and the women. I've always had a lot of men friends. I've always had a lot of women friends. I've always been that girl to just be with everybody, and my friends were from all walks of life, from all over the place, different languages and stuff. And I felt like Living Single was really reflective of that. Girlfriends was the professional life, the professional, kind of a little bit older, a little bit more, sophisticated life, you know what I mean? And Living Single was more fresh, young. It was giving that different perspective. So I love Living Single.
Definitely agree. So I know that Tyler has a way of wrapping up production very quickly. So you guys have a lot of time short time working.
Yes.
And you have a lot of free time to like promote the show and stuff. But you have a lot going on, from your YouTube series, different brands, and you do a lot with your social media platforms. Tell us what we can expect from you coming up and what you're currently working on.
Man, I'm super excited. I'm a Scorpio though, so I'm gonna have to keep it under wraps. You just gotta have to follow me on socials, because that's just where I'm at. I am Novi Brown on Twitter and Instagram, and Naturally Lit on YouTube, because I do astrology stuff when I'm not acting. I'm really into the stars, crystal baby. And I think we had touched a little bit on it earlier, but that's what had gotten me to this journey, because everyone needs some kind of spiritual or life, some kind of divination, something in their life that they feel pulled to, whether it's music, herbs, whether it's God, universe, scripture, song, dance, whatever it may be for you, or a plethora of those things, right? Whatever your personal rituals are. And so when I found astrology, it really just explained a sliver of the world that was so unexplainable, even and it's the stars and the sun. And then I just started thinking about the language and how we talked about, this is such a beautiful space, like why am I saying that,
Right. And you have a lot of Scorpios in the comments. They love that.
Listen, get into it. So it's like why am I saying these things? Why are we connected, right? What's your sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Right. I have a Jupiter in Pisces in the 10th house. So my 10th house is in Pisces. So, that means people with Pisces energy, career-wise, probably a good thing for me. You know what I'm saying? Like connecting with these people. I have Jupiter there. So Jupiter is all about publishing. It's all about a global network and what we were talking about. And, personality, your beautiful self. And I see you here, the owner of your business, and it's in my house of career, right? And so it's like we're sitting here talking, but girl, there's 8 billion people in the world. I could have ran into anybody else.
That's true.
Why you?
It was meant to be.
Why you? Like, it's meant to be. So when I found it, y'all, I was like, okay, hold on. This is like a sliver of God's like poetry, because I always say God is a poet, and I feel like life is symbolic of so many things. You know, I love symbolism. I love the senses, and I love just being in nature.
Right.
I'm like, I'm really looking around of my environment. You know, we didn't have phones before. We didn't have this XYZ. So if we didn't have this, how could we communicate? Oh, we would write on walls. We would write on in the ground and things like that. We would do it through symbolism. And it's just like, well, this means something, right? And
Definitely.
when you're really in this mode, and you're a Pisces, so you're really into this anyway, like water and
Right.
spirituality and God and just like vibes, and you know, like I can
Definitely.
talk to you about this kind of stuff. So it's infused within, right? It's the unknowing, the subconscious. So I'm an actor, so it's my job to discover and explore and to look into different walks of life. And then when you watch Harry Potter, there's
A lot.
millions of astrological references in Harry Potter,
Exactly.
XYZ, and it's in the tombstones of our ancestors. So I was like, okay, hold on. You gotta pay attention to this right here. And the
Right.
more I really started exploring it, and then especially melanated women started, I started running into them, because I was running into them anyway, into us.
Hmm.
And but they were asking me for, I guess, it's spiritual advice, you know, like this was happening throughout my life, and I'm like, why me, you know? So I think
Right.
I finally found a way to express it, and it's like a cool little neat party trick anyway, because energy is real, feeling
It
things, and
definitely is.
you know, and the exchange of things, and now you and I will be building our careers together, right? We'll be old ladies together one day
Right.
on the yacht somewhere on a boat, talking our
Sipping.
stuff, right, girl? Like just relaxing, and we'll be like, remember when we were young on social media, girl? Like, you know,
Right.
like, see, and it'll be a thing, like. So I really try to honor and look around of my environment, and astrology really helps me understand my environment, you know, and it's something I can follow. Like I know today,
Right.
you know, we have Mars in Leo, something like that, Venus in Virgo, and I know what those things mean, how they could show up in my life. And I think it's Kemetic astrology, which is really, really the ancient astrology of our people, is an
Hmm.
ancient practice that we used to practice. You know, we used to really honor that. So I've been
Right.
really looking into it and keeping my mind open. And the more I keep my mind open, I get to run into really cool um, expressions that God leaves behind for us to understand our life a little bit better. So that's why I like to use that. And then last but not least, I looked up Sabrina's sign chart placement, okay, for everybody who knows about their stuff. She's a
Hmm.
Capricorn rising, okay,
Okay.
with the moon in Cancer and a Pisces
Mm.
sun.
Super emotional too.
Right? But she give you like, oh, I'm about my business. But when you get to the
Diverse
inside,
too.
she's mushy. You know what I'm saying? And so she's
Right.
emotional, and she's like, the moon in the seventh house kind of shows her codependency, her emotional codependency on Danny and things like that. Because a lot of people think Danny's a Leo and stuff. So it's a cute
I
little
do get
thing.
Leo vibes from Danny.
See,
Yeah.
like, and it's just a little cute little way to. So any artists that are out there, you can totally use this for your art, okay? Because it can, you know,
Right.
infuse that energy in there.
I definitely agree. What are some tips or like books or videos you would give somebody that's trying to get into astrology?
Ooh, there's so many. Excuse me.
Hmm.
Okay, so to first, I will get your birth time, location, and birthday. If you do not
Hmm.
have your time, it is okay. There are rectification astrologers. Those are the people who ask you about major events in your life, and they help you trace it back. So maybe if you had a child, maybe when you got married, maybe the first time you moved out, maybe something with your
Hmm.
mother, you know, something like that. And you would
Right.
say, oh, June 7th, you know, 1989 or whatever, 1990. That's when this happened. Then they would look at,
Right.
you know, kind of like that. But if you don't, you can still get a really good reading from that
Hmm.
day. You just won't get a rising sign, which essentially is
Hmm.
where the sun was on the east at the time you were born. So every 2 hours
Uh-huh.
it changes the sign, right? Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, your rising sign
Right.
changes, meaning that's like the path in life that you take Everyone
You
don't take the
dropping
same
some
path.
deep gems, girl.
Okay, everyone don't take the same path, but we have
Right.
a similar understanding of what we need. We just don't take the same path. So,
Definitely agree.
you know, when you get that rising, but then the moon is usually in the same sign every day, depending on the day. And then the sun is obviously in the same sign every day because of the seasons. Cancer season, Leo season, whatever.
Right.
So, you know, your moon is your emotional needs, like what you need on the inside, like to make you feel secure and calm and like, and it's good for self-care. It's good for, you know, therapy. It's good for
Right.
expressing yourself. Like it's really good for understanding your children, your best friends, people around you, things like that, because there's certain needs that you have that you can't explain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They're part of who you are. And so your sun sign, okay, yeah, you get Pisces, right? And some people will say that Pisces are, oh yeah, they're always daydreaming and they're lazy and they don't do anything. You're over here like, I'm
You're
working,
wrong,
I'm
sis.
getting it done.
Right.
Rihanna's a Pisces, don't play with me. Like, don't,
Period.
Janae is a Pisces. Like, we're out here, we're working. What are y'all talking about?
Right.
But it's the other placements that dictate what type of Pisces she really is. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact. But
And
Pisces are multi-layered anyway,
yes,
so
you know,
yeah.
tell us this. You said catch you next week with another look, cause
Right.
like don't play with me.
Definitely agree. So we're gonna wrap things up. Novi, thank you so
Guys.
much. Cousins, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you follow her on all social media platforms. She dropped a lot of gems today. She utilizes her platform perfectly with doing that every day, which we appreciate.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for standing up for Black women. Thank you for putting
Thank
on
you.
for us melanin sisters.
That's
And
how we do.
we love you. Thank you so much. Good
Thank
night,
you guys.
guys. Thank you for
Bye,
tuning
cousin.
in. That was